between us, we're just going to do a sort of quick whistle stop tour of the priority areas for the student leadership team and the projects that are linked to it. There will be another kind of more comprehensive session at the July SLT meeting on this, so we're not going to like dig too much into the detail here, but like this hopefully will give you some sort of good context about kind of how we've got to where we're up to, and you know, some of the high level stuff around the project. So so first of all, kind of SLT priority areas. What are they? I'll cover what they are first, and then I'll go through this slide. So what they are is ultimately, I guess I would describe them as a set of sort of collective objectives. Excuse the rhyming of that phrase, but collective objectives that you as a team of student leaders sort of have to bring you together, that kind of summarize a lot of the issues that were raised within the manifestos that we had from the people who were elected, I guess, in the 2024 election. So hopefully you're kind of familiar with what the priority areas are. You'll have seen them on the website, and you know, and seen what those 4 areas are. And we'll go through them in a minute, but just to kind of go through how we got to the priority areas that you've got as a team, and the projects that have come out of them. As I said, all starts with election manifestos. So as you know from your very recent experience, you had an election manifesto, you would have written down things in that manifesto, issues that you think need resolving on behalf of students that you care about as an OU student. And obviously every other election candidate has who was successfully elected has also done the same thing. And what that means is that we potentially have 26 people that have written down 26 or more different things, but actually we do an analysis, because we know that a lot of the things that people might bring up, other people will have brought up who have also been elected. So what we're trying to do within that analysis is figure out where the commonalities are between you as a group of elected student leaders, and try and draw out some of those big themes. So there was the election, then we did a bit of an analysis with Andrew, Natalie, and Beth, and another couple of members of the staff team, just to kind of figure out what those themes are. And then at the onboarding weekend back in, I want to say September 2024, we had a really great couple of workshops where we sort of presented those themes back to the student leadership team, and kind of really honed in on like narrowing what the focus should be in terms of these priority areas. Also another workshop there kind of focused in on actually within those priority areas, what types of work would you like to do to solve some of those issues. So out of that, you have the last 2 points on here, which is we honed in on what the priority areas were, and we were able to, from that piece of work, come away with a series of projects under each of the priority areas. So I'll just quickly go through each of the priority areas and then hand over to Lara to go through the actual projects that we're currently working on. So as I said, there are 4 of them. I think they're all really, really exciting areas of work that, you know, each student leadership team has its own kind of agenda. So the last student leadership team had like a pretty different set of priority areas, and so these are the ones that this student leadership team chose to sort of really focus in on, and these areas that they're trying to make a difference. I should probably add that none of this stops you from working on other things that don't fall within these areas, but these are just kind of I guess these are sort of the banner objectives that you know that help to bring you together as a team. So I don't want anyone to think like, oh, I've got an idea for something I want to do over here, but it doesn't fit under any of these, and therefore I can't do it. that's not what we mean it to be. It's just these things are really helpful in kind of communicating your message as a team. So student support was the first one, and I don't know whether either of you in your manifestos had things about the OU student support services and some of the sort of issues that students face. In terms of availability and sort of specific needs of specific student populations, things like that. There was a huge amount of conversation around that, and it was very clear that that was something that this student leadership team really wanted to focus in on. So that's like really exciting to have something so sort of tangible, specific and meaty to grab onto and be like, this is something specific that we can really affect change in. Student well-being was a little bit more of a almost like a sort of opposite thing to student support, where it was a bit more of a zoomed out kind of look at, well, what do students need across their student experience in order to improve their well-being. So not necessarily in an academic context, but kind of that stuff that goes alongside the academic in order to look at the whole human being as a student, if that makes sense. So I think that probably summarizes that as well as I can. And then we had a really big sort of theme around how students' academic experience is incredibly inconsistent, depending on what module you're on, what faculty you're in, things like that. And there was just an enormous, like a laundry list of things where, students had negative experiences or inconsistent experiences or like really positive experiences in one place, and then they go to another module and it's it couldn't be a more polar opposite experience. So trying to really kind of hone in on that idea of consistency across the academic experience and like protecting students and giving them a kind of I guess working towards like a guarantee of what you could expect from being an OU student. Obviously, that's your sort of aspirational goal, is whether we get there kind of this year, next year might not be possible, but if we're working towards that, hopefully we'll make positive changes, and that's the idea of it. And then the final one there is neurodivergent student experience, which was something that came out of a motion that was passed at our last conference back in 2024, where students voted overwhelmingly to have a real focus on this, on kind of that motion was a bit more specific around diagnosis, like supporting students towards diagnosis of neurodivergent conditions. When we had the discussion at the workshop, it was clear that the team wanted to kind of broaden that and obviously focusing on that as well, but also look at that broader that student experience for neurodivergent students and see how we could work with the university to improve how that's experienced. So there's a whistle-stop tour of the four priority areas. I think they're absolutely like brilliant, and like give real sort of tangible things that you can hopefully try to achieve over the course of a term. And from them came all of the projects that Lara's just about to go through. So I'll pass over to Lara, and Lara, if you want to kind of give a high level sort of overview of what these are, and then happy to take any questions or anything you want to ask at the end.
Perfect, thank you. So we've got 8 projects, and they all come under the umbrella, I guess, of the priority areas. So these projects are a way for the student leadership team and staff to work together to sort of meet these areas. So we've got these until the end of the term. Most projects are in the early phases, so you'll see on the table there's activity 1, 2 and 3. So for most we're probably in activity 1 or 2, and I guess we've got about a year to to sort of continue with these and go into activity 3. Some might finish earlier than that, and some might even go into the next term. It might be sort of bigger chunks of work that we sort of make progress on, but it's still important for us to take forward. Yes, this first one is about student support, so understanding students' needs. And the aim of this is to produce documentation around best practice and policy positions to present to the OU. So the first activity is around consultation. So as I said, I think in most projects we've kind of completed the consultation now. We had consultations earlier this year, but there might be some more areas that we want to ask students about. And then the next step is developing a document so we can ask the university to do the things we think they should do. So on the right, we've got the student leadership team members and staff that are in the project. So you'll have a copy of these slides, you can refer back to it. I think we've also got the membership on the team space that Jazz set up, so you can easily see who's in which project. And we also have project leads for nearly all of the projects, so they sort of keep an eye on the timescale and the project plan and sort of keep it moving forward. So that's a staff member that does that. And then the input from the SLT is sort of guiding the direction of the projects as we go along. So the second one is about student community activities. So you might have seen that we've got societies, clubs, groups, and we also run events and meetups for students. And these have been running for quite a while now. Societies have been running for some of them for over 40 years. So yeah, at this stage we're sort of reviewing how all of that works, and if there's anything that we want to pilot and try a different approach with. So that's that project. Third one is around apprentices. So I don't know if this one's on hold at the moment, Dan. I know we were sort of looking at whether OU students who were apprentices, if apprentices were OU students and how we could support them.
Yeah, it has been on hold, but there should be progress on it soon. Andrew, I need to talk to you about this. I've had progress.
We need to have a little, we need to have a little chat. I did actually just send you a private message just a second ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that one. Themed wellbeing weeks. So this one's really exciting actually. Natalie's coordinating this project, but all of the SLT will sort of contribute to it and share ideas of what you might want to be a theme. And then we'll be sort of organising the weeks as we go along. And it will all be about sort of engaging students and making sure they know what support is available to them. And we'll have the staff team supporting with that as well, with comms, and the programme team as well, monitoring that. The fifth project is menopause support. So I think this one's been started a little bit earlier. So I think they've made some good progress with this already. And looking at providing sort of resources on our website, helping students with their studies and supporting them. And there may be some policy positions or advocacy that we do later down the line as well. The sixth one is academic experience. So this obviously relates really well to the first priority area. So it's understanding what challenges students face on their academic journey. So it can be anything to do with like their tutorials, their tutors, assessments. So this is a really big project, really. I think it's what we've discovered working on this so far. It covers a lot of areas. So at the moment we've been sort of defining the academic experience and what we want to focus on. And we looked at what came out of the student consultations and our annual membership survey and lots of different areas where we were able to get feedback from students. And then the next step will be putting forward a document on best practice. So that's where we are with that. Protect the curriculum. So this is about the OU making changes to the curriculum and making sure we have a framework to challenge the OU if we want to on any of their proposed changes. So that will give us some strength in those discussions with them. And finally, the neurodivergent student experience project. This is quite a similar layout to the academic experience one. So based on student consultation, which we've got quite a bit on already. We've already got a report ready that Rachel and the staff team has been working on. So we've made good progress with that. And the next steps will be really engaging with students on it, hosting some more events and sort of building the community space as well. And then we'll share our findings with the university and work with them on areas that we want to improve as well. So that's all the projects. Does anyone have any questions?
There's no pressure to ask any questions. By the way, there will be opportunities for obviously the newly elected SLT members to get involved in projects that they're interested in, and you know, have a real kind of chance to still, you know, shape what the work is moving forward. I think one of the key things that Lara said is that, you know, all of these do have different timescales, and as you can see from some of them, they're like really ambitious pieces of work that might go beyond this SLT term into the next one, and obviously that's the nature of kind of student democracy and student politics, is you're doing bits of work and you're kind of laying the groundwork for the next team that comes in to kind of carry it forward, but we will obviously be trying to get as much done as we can within this term, so that, you know, you as a team have the opportunity to really see the impact that you're having and get some real wins hopefully on that front. Yeah, Ashley.
Oh, sorry. So in regards to our predecessors, is there any like handover documentation on how they participated and, you know, what they did? Because sorry, I maybe haven't looked into that yet, but yeah.
It largely depends on the role that you're coming into, and okay, unfortunately the nature with some of the by-elections is that people have you know, largely maybe stopped engaging and kind of stepped back from the role. There's no pressure for you to do the same things that they were doing. I think that's a key thing. Which role are you in, Ashley?
So I'm the Scotland representative.
Scotland rep, yeah. So, you know, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything really sort of predetermined in that. Obviously, that there may be stuff in relation to the community side of things that you might be more interested in that usually goes along with that role, but that absolutely doesn't stop you getting involved in the academic student experience stuff or anything like that. So really, with a lot of these projects, it's kind of you know, the things that you're interested in, as you can see, like some of them are kind of further along than others are at kind of relatively early stages, but yeah, so I wouldn't worry too much about, I mean, Jazz, I know Gareth did design the sort of handover document, but with the Scotland rep,
we didn't have one in post.
We didn't have one, I don't think. That was the only role that we didn't have elected from 2024. Okay. So you kind of got a bit of free reign, I guess. Kind of see it as a positive. But we're here to support you for, you know, to engage with both the office up in Edinburgh, but also kind of things that you want to do. And obviously we do have Ireland rep and Wales rep. You know, Michael's here, and you know, I think it's kind of good opportunity to kind of learn from each other in that sense about kind of what are the types of things that you can do. But yeah, so
sorry, Dan, for jumping in. Just to give you a little bit of context, so the deputy president that was before me, he was also in Scotland, Mark. Now, he actually did a little bit of that work in terms of Scotland, but not much. So, from what I know, the best thing is basically just go with the flow. Whatever you create, use that as your fundamental, and then from there build it.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think I'd agree. Like, don't see it as there's like a sort of framework that you have to fit to, but we can sort of introduce you to people in the Scotland office if you haven't already met them, and just there's some really kind of supportive, helpful people. And obviously we're very aware that you know, Milton Keynes is a long way from Scotland, and sometimes it is nicer to have some people a bit closer by that understand the local lay of the land. But we are also here, you know, almost everyone in the OU now works remotely anyway. So whether I'm in my living room in Northampton or you know, whoever from the Scotland office is in their living room in Edinburgh or Glasgow, then, you know, we're all just a Teams call away, really, from having a conversation. So yeah, but I would say, like, link up with the other area reps, because they've got a year's worth of sort of having done it now, so that you can kind of draw on what they've done and just kind of think, okay, what do I want to do? But in terms of these projects, think of it more in terms of like when you've had a bit more of a look at them, what am I really interested in, what would be exciting to get involved in. And we've generally said, just obviously because we know you're all busy students with lives outside of being students as well, we've sort of generally said like around up to 2 projects each. But if you're super interested in more stuff and you have time, then that's not like a hard rule. It's just we don't want to overburden you with meetings and things like that when you're already busy. So yeah, we'll like I said, we'll get more into it at the SLT meeting, because we'll sort of cover how it fits into our strategy, and we'll have kind of a bit more detailed updates on what's been going on in each of the projects, so you can you know, have a bit more context around that.
Shall I stop recording now if everyone else is happy? Questions wise, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Bang on, half